I think I figured out what the problem was. This is in general just like less readable. So let's just make it a little bit simpler. So I'm just going to get over all of this. I'm going to do const load, which is an async function, right? And I'm going to take the first coin. So const coin 0, which is probably ohm actually, is await get, actually I can probably do it this way, get ERC contract, and then coins 0, right? And then I can do symbol, right? Const symbol is ohm dot symbol await, and then oh, by the way, what this ERC contract is basically guess the contract with the ERC20 ABI. So an ERC20 ABI is basically a what do you call it? It's basically a contract. It's an interface. So this file pretty much determines what kind of functions it has and what is the signature of every single function. So if I want to interact with like any of these contracts, and it like this get ERC contract will create an object that has all of these different functions. So for example, if I search balance of, this is like a function that has these inputs, right, which is the account's address. And then it's basically only one input. And the name and type and all that kind of stuff are the different attributes of that one specific input. So it's an input of type address, its name is account, and the internal type is address. So I don't know what the difference between internal type and type is. They seem to be the same for most of these things, but there's probably a reason for it. But you can basically use balance of for getting the number of balance, decimals for the number of decimals that token can have. So it's basically the smallest amount of that token that you can have. Usually is determined by this decimals value. So ohm has 9 decimals, so you can have like a balance of 0.123456789, right? But you can never have like the same balance plus like another 1 at the end, because the number of decimals is 9. So you're limited to this number of decimals in ohm, for example. So let's get the symbol just to kind of test whether this works. Console.log symbol, and then symbol, and then I'm going to call this load function. So load then, and then I'm going to pass like nothing, right? Or something like that, right? And then let's go back to here. So you can see that the symbol is showing the symbol, right? So this is working. We're actually connected to the Ethereum mainnet. So one thing that I can do here is for const token of actually coin of coins, and then I can write a for loop, right? Basically say const coin or token is this. The symbol of that token is that. Actually, let's get the symbol of that token right now and just print it to see if all of them work. All right, cool. I believe this should be all of it. Let's go back. Symbol geom geom geom. Interesting. I wonder what. Oh, it's because it's getting the. It's basically getting coins of 0, right? So we basically can pass in coin here. I wonder why this is. Okay, it's not complaining anymore. Let's go back. So it's getting us geom, ohm, and then staked ohm. So the first one is probably geom. Yeah, it was geom actually too. All right, cool. So what we can do now is to basically have the balance of it, right? So we can do token balance of, and then we pass in our own address here, and then we do actually dot div. So this is a division, 1E9, which is basically 1 billion, because like this is gonna give you like a really big number, and then once you divide it by, and by the way, the return value of this guy is a big number, which is a library that is provided by Ethers, and this is a promise, so we have to await it, and then once we await it, it returns a big number, and then we divide it by 1E9, which gives us like a human readable, version of like what the balance is, and that's pretty much it. Actually, this is not really good because we want like a certain degree of like significant digits. So instead of dividing by 1e to the power 9, because this library, the way that it divides is that it basically doesn't have any fractions. So if you have like half an ohm, this division will show you 0. So I want that to be not the case. So I'm going to divide by 1e9 and then call to number. So when you call to number on this big number object, it'll actually return like a normal number to you, and then divide it by 1e5. This will actually give me like a really nice balance that is a fraction. So balance, 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 and then balance. All right, cool. So this should now show me the balance of this account over all of those things. So let's actually use this account so that I know that it actually does have some balance in it. Hopefully these balances will not all be 0. Okay, that makes sense. So 0, 0, and then 5.9 something, something. All right, so we have all of these now. I believe that it would be best if we do it. We have to now call set balances on these, right? So one way that I can do this is basically define a new variable called const balances is an empty array, and then I can do balances dot push balance. And once I do that, I can basically do set balances, not balances, whoops. All right, cool. That is all of it. And when we go back in here, we can see that. And let's see if we actually see the balance on our mobile app as well. Yay, we can see it, but it's kind of ugly because it is showing like 5.91616 or something like that. So that's not the best looking kind of balance that I've seen. So how do we make it look a little bit prettier? One way that we can do that is by calling toFixed here and passing in 2 maybe. So that'll make it look a little bit nicer. But at the same time, I want these bottom, like the USD values, to be shifted to the right. So the way I'm going to do that is by basically, this is where we have the balances, right? So style, flex, direction. I'm going to do row reverse, maybe. Does that work? Actually, that's bad. Let's do column reverse. Not column reverse, reverse. Column reverse. Not really sure if that did what I wanted to do. No. Row reverse. Actually, no. This was actually already fine. So let's save it. All right, there we go. Justify content flex end. I think this might do it. Or align items. Align items. There we go. Yay, okay, perfect. This looks much, much better now. And also the second text, I wanted to have a little bit of margin from the first text, so we'll do margin top here. And maybe put 10. Too much, way too much. So let's put like 3 pixels or something. Alright, yeah, that's much better. I'm starting to wonder if it actually was looking better even before I put the margin. No, they do have some margin here. That's pretty reasonable. Okay, cool. And now this is officially getting all of their ohm and g ohm and everything, every other thing's balance. So that's pretty awesome. I wonder if I can find some address that does have some g ohm in them. So let's go to g ohm and then go to the, yes, the token governance ohm. That's awesome. So let's actually remove the filter. So it's filtered by this holder, but let's actually cancel that. And then we can go to holders. So we can see there's a whole lot of people that hold these. Let's actually go somewhere here, for example. Like, I don't want it to be a contract that owns it. I want it to be a user's username. And copy address, and then we come here, and then we can find this address and pass it in here. There we go. And this guy must have some geom in their account. Do they? No, it looks like they don't have any geom in their account. That's weird though, because they should. So let's refresh this. Maybe this will do something. Let's go here. Yeah, no, their geom is basically that. It's not showing any extra balance. Another thing that we need to set here is whenever you're using a map, be sure to pass in a key. So in this case, the coin IDs are unique themselves. So I'm going to pass in the coin ID itself as a unique ID. Another thing that we need to check for here is the actual token. I might be doing the calculation wrong. So let's do read contract here. And then take a look at the decimals. Oh, this isn't actually a 18 decimal coin. So I was making a mistake. So I wonder if, well, OHM and stake home have the same amount of decimals that I already know, but this one has 18 decimals. So that definitely changes things. So let's do a decimal lookup. Const decimal lookup, which is a lookup of numbers. And then we can basically put these here. This one is 9. This one is 18. This one is 9. And we might actually have to change the definition, like the implementation of our decimals a little bit. It wouldn't be that bad. So the const, we can basically set some number called here const decimals is decimal lookup of coin. So that is all in good. Const significant digits. Let's say we want 4 significant digits. Const rest equals decimals minus significant digits. All right, cool. So now when we do something like this, and also let's create this really cool function, const pow. So it's basically a function that returns 1 with that many zeros, but it actually returns a string. So number will basically do 1 and then 0 that repeats, and then we're going to pass an n here, right? So this is a utility function for when I'm using, for example, like if you use a number like 1 and then like a whole bunch of zeros here, like 18 zeros or something. This number, if you use it in JavaScript, it'll like throw an error because you can't have like, it actually is bigger than big int, which is 2 to the power of 32, I believe. So the way that we're going to deal with it is that we're going to put everything, pass in everything as string, and the big number library does accept strings. So we're good. So the way that I'm going to do this is that I'm going to call pow, and then I'm going to call in pretty much the rest, right? And then dot to number, and then I'm going to do here math dot pow 10, and then I'm going to do significant digits. So that'll give me the amount of significant digits that I want out of this, and it's going to use the correct number of decimals for every single one of these things, right? So now, having done that, I am expecting to get the correct value here, and no, it does not show. So looks like I need to take a look into this. 0xAB8, let's just check the contract address to make sure that it is correct. Address book, AB87, AB870. So all that stuff seems okay. All right. So this does seem to be a little bit weird. Alright, I'm going to pause the video again. Sorry guys, I don't know why I keep running into all these weird issues.